Hello everybody, I'm Lorii Abela, your matchmaker and dating coach. I am here now at Matchmaker Secrets, where we talk about love, dating, and relationships. And of course, matchmaking. So once in a while, we get the chance to interview ladies because most of the time, I think who we have been inviting were men. And then obviously, like tonight is just one of those good times that we're actually talking to somebody who is Kimberly Darovec. She's an artist by birth. She's an entrepreneur, therapist, author, party animal, and human expansion catalyst by design. So hello, Kimberly.
Hello.
Nice to have you. So I really
How's
like
that for a dating profile?
Okay, I really like your hair today.
Thank you.
So I know that you are now coupled, but before, can you tell us how was dating life for you in Chicago?
Yeah, I loved it. And I have some friends that are like, I hate it. There's nobody eligible. Blah, it's terrible. And I'm like, I just had the best time meeting people, you know, whether friends introduced me to them or usually it was just like on a dating app, you know. I had a fabulous time just getting to know people, whether we had any chemistry or hit it off or had a great, every conversation I had was a great conversation, whether I was in it for 5 hours or 40 minutes, you know, like I just had a good time meeting new people.
Okay, so you're a natural extrovert.
Yes, that's what I've been told, yeah. And on the extroversion scale, right, if you do the MBTI, I used to be like 30 out of 30 extrovert, but I think the more I've like worked with people in my life, now I'm like, I want a little alone time, so. Yeah.
Cool. So did you have any specifics of what you were looking for in a mate?
Well, I guess we all kind of learn from past experiences, right? Not to let what's happened in the past doom us and keep us from meeting somebody that we wouldn't think about, you know, that would be a potential. But I did learn a couple things from relationships in the past, was that I definitely wanted my, future mate, if their mother was still alive, to have a good relationship with their mom, because I had a slew of people that had completely broken relationships with their mom, and it was just heartbreaking. And you could see where they were missing like that sort of the feminine touch and the upbringing and everything else that like would give them, sympathy and love towards a woman. And I was like, there's clearly got to be some sort of a correlation. So I was like, I knew I wanted to be with somebody that had a good relationship with his mom. That was kind of like the first big thing.
Wow, that's a good one. Because obviously sometimes how do they respect the mom is more or less how will they respect you? If they're bickering all the time with their mommy, then chances are it's going to be repeating to their relationship.
They don't even talk to their mom anymore, and it's like, ooh, she's the person that gave you life. I get people have, people's mothers have, different mental illness or whatever else. They've got stuff going on. They're real people just like us. But to sever ties completely or be, bickering, to me, complaining about the mom, I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to hear it. She did the best she could.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Based on whatever decision that she had at that particular time. And then, we're living here in the United States, and obviously, there's some who has been a product of divorce. So maybe their parents were divorced. The mommy of this guy probably have been divorced, and the previous relationship that the parents had. The grandparents of the guy probably had also a divorce, and so they've seen a lot of repetitive situations, and so they have a lot of anger and sadness and whatever, and so
towards the breakdown of relationships.
Yes.
How would they ever work? If you've only got a history,
it's repetitive, and so obviously that's a good idea though. So you're not just protecting yourself, but also making sure that for the future of your children as well, if ever. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, you're a certain age now, but what have you learned, do you think, that, you would like to share, as far as, relationship is concerned?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is being with somebody who is willing to grow, and expand, because we don't want the relationship to stagnate, right? If you get comfortable and complacent, things deteriorate. Like nothing stays in one consistent plane. You're either expanding or you're contracting, right? So being with somebody who wants to expand in their own career and in their own passions and in their own life, but yet expand and build with me as well, and be accepting of my career and passions. And if we're not doing the same thing, which we're not, we're both artists, but different types of artists. There's certain couples are like, they build a business and they're doing all that together and they're always together, and that can work or not work. It just depends, right, on your level of communication. But being able to be your own individual person and be a unit, an amazing, not like unflappable partner. Yeah.
No, I think it just suddenly worked for you because he's also an artist, so you probably have the same kind of patience as far as okay, he has to have some own time on his own so that he can create his art. Mm-hmm. Same thing with you, because you are doing paintings. Is that what it is?
Yeah, painting and jewelry and like 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, all kinds of art.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
Yeah. So, and it takes time to make a painting and for him to practice either guitar or bass guitar, and get things to the level that, you don't have to be perfectionist about any of this stuff, the creativity, but something you're proud of and you want to present to the world and share.
Yeah.
So it takes some time.
Mm-hmm.
So being respectful of that, I love you said that.
Yeah, because obviously it's I think it's just one of the basics, love and respect. That's just one of the basics in
Amen, girl.
In any relationship. And so, can you give some tips for those people who are still looking? Because, obviously, you were saying, you have these friends complaining. Are there any other good men out there? It seems they're all taken, or they can be priests.
Yeah, I would say that just get yourself out there, because a lot of the friends that I know that do complain, they're not going on dates even. They're complaining there's nobody out there, but they're not going to come knock on your door while you're sitting around, eating fried chicken, watching Netflix or something. You got to put in a little bit of effort. So, and have fun. You can have it be you go out with girlfriends, but you're on a mission to scope the place and meet people. It can be you're going out with a crew, who's got your back, or just go on the dating apps and have a great time, and don't make anything that somebody says. People are going to say ridiculously stupid and ridiculously amazing things when you meet them for the first time, and just have it all be great. Don't have it be anything about you. If there's no chemistry or you rub each other the wrong way, awesome, we had a good hour together or whatever. Yeah. Next.
That's true. That's true. So what you call that? I'm not sure. For you, do you still think that marriage is important, or marriage is not important as long as you're happy together?
Yeah, as long as you're happy together and you've got that mutual respect and love, and the ability to grow and keep expanding and not contracting. Right, just keep expanding, and. For people that marriage is important, great. I would like to get married. So yeah, I've never, I don't have to, but I know some people, when they're going out on dates, it's that's their goal, is they want to be married, they want to have kids by a certain time, and that's awesome. And there's just for that female or male, whoever, however they identify, it's just for them to say what they want. Some people say up front, some people just kind of slowly build to that. I mean, it's all valuable and it's all valid, but just share what's on your heart and share what it is that you desire, and what you're going to be a demand for too, what you're not going to settle for.
Okay. And so do you regularly talk about okay, this is where I want to go as far as growth is concerned? Because I have no idea how is he as far as his growth potential he wants to achieve.
Yeah, we do. So, and that can be a point of, it's never an easy conversation when somebody's excelling and another person isn't, or whatever. It's just having the conversation and having the grace and, for the other person where they're at, and being a supportive partner. And then at the same time knowing we do have conversations about what we will and will not put up with, like the State of the Union kind of sit down conversations, so it's very important to have those conversations. They're not easy, but it's where the real nitty gritty comes about, and just by being in those conversations, you can hear who the other person is and who they are for you and who they are for themselves. More importantly, like who we are for ourselves is so important. There's for us to be clear about that and be confident in who we are, or else we're never going to be like a great partner for somebody else. So yeah, we have conversations a lot about like growth and like shrinkage and all that. So it's very important to have those conversations and get all the cards out on the table.
Okay. And so like, do you recommend that regularly, like, once a month? Not sure, like, how do you usually?
I mean, it comes up, but yeah, if you're in a space, let me look. So I would say if you're in a space where things are going really great, everything's going great, you're expanding, they're expanding, you're growing together, and everything's just rosy. There would still be like once a month or so, if that's your case, once a month, like sit down and have a conversation and like take almost like a survey. Like some of the stuff with relationships, it's like we want it all to be like ooey gooey romantic, but there's just a lot of like logistics. I've been with my guy for 5 years now. There's just a lot of like logistical stuff to like work out and talk about, and things that are like schedules, and like what did I just say? Like a survey of like taking an inventory of like where we are now and where we're going and what we haven't done and what we're still committed to, and like getting all your commitments out there and clear with each other and for yourself, like I said.
Yeah, I really like this because
because even if you're in a great spot, I love that once a month. I'm like, yes, once a month or once every 2 weeks.
I really like it because like, I've seen some people who have grown apart because like, their goals are different, and so like obviously it's going to be a result for a breakup, and so like it's difficult because like sometimes you see them like they've been together for a long time, but the thing though is that at a certain level, like they didn't actually discuss, okay, this is where I want to go as far as this area of my life is concerned. So and
it's just been kind of secret for a year or two, right?
It's rough because like as you were saying, it's not an easy conversation, but the mere idea though that you want to have a conversation is that you want to grow together somehow, and then like maybe meet halfway if that's too far for him to reach or whatever.
Right,
but,
there could be compromise, right? Like it's so important just to know where everybody stands and not have either partner or whatever your relationship looks like not have anybody like holding back and keeping some desire or resentment or whatever secret. Like bring that to the forefront so it can be dealt with, and then it's dealt with, and from there you get to create whether you're staying, going, or any other compromise. So at least what's happening.
Did you had any model relationship when you were younger? Like, did you say like, oh, okay, that's a good relationship. Like, I would like to have that. I have no idea. Maybe your grandparents, your parents, whoever, or your aunts. Because like you have been in this kind of relationship. So like, somehow you have, probably gathered some information, because like we were like sponges when you were young. Like, you absorb whatever you see. So that's the reason why I'm just asking, maybe you have absorbed something which is actually like, solid. Okay, that's something that I want to like be achieving once I become an adult and be in a relationship.
I think that like when you ask that question, I'm like, well, I don't know. Like when you said my grandparents, there's things that I loved about them that worked well together, but I could more even as a child see the things that like didn't, and where the divide was. Same thing with my parents. Aunt and uncle even, like they were probably a really great example early on because they were like adventurous and traveling, and both like scientists and brilliant people, and they had a lot in common, and you could tell they really loved each other, but I got to watch that fall apart too. So, like everything, most of my like closest relationships in my family anyway, I've seen deteriorate. And that's funny. So like my guy, he's like, we're both the oldest, neither one of us have been married before, and like it's just funny, and so it's like finding your like people, and trying to blend because now like being out dating, another thing that when I hear people complaining about is like if somebody has kids or doesn't have kids or whatever, there's just that whole blending of families and lifestyles, and you got to be totally open about all that stuff, about what you want and what you don't want.
Yeah,
because it's out there. So.
Before you met him, were you also open to having somebody who already has a child?
Yeah. My old fiance had 3 kids.
Wow, that's
And
a
I helped
lot.
raise like the littlest one. Yeah, from like 2 to 6, I guess, or whatever. We were together 4 years. So yeah, I'm not adverse to kids. I'm not like, God, I gotta have kids. It's just like the love of the person. If they have children, it's like there's always a way to have that work.
Yeah, I just have to ask that because, like, obviously there are some people who are like picky about that, especially men. If you have children, like, the man doesn't probably like, thinking like, okay, am I gonna consider her? She already has children, and then like, with that, but it's a a hit or miss for men. But I guess like women probably are more open to such an idea. Like if they really love the guy, I think we're just hopefully like romantic by heart that we believe in love.
Yes. Oh, love. I mean, so like when I look at models too of like relationships, maybe it wasn't my family, but I could give a shout out to my friends Brian and Sarah right now, and it's like they have a great marriage and they have 2 kids, but they met like in like I think he had just graduated high school and she was still in high school or something, so they've been together forever. So those are those like I know a couple couples like that are still together, and those are those like the miracle people. People think that doesn't exist, but it does. But that's not the only thing out there. If you missed out on that for whatever reason, you got to go create your own joy and your own happiness with a new person, since you missed out on like your high school sweetheart or whatever. Like there's somebody out there for all of us. We just gotta like rope them in.
Okay. And so what you call that, how much personal time do you usually devote for yourself? Because like obviously you've been together for 5 years, and so like obviously you want to have also some personal time.
Yeah.
How much do you devote for yourself?
Well, it's mostly like when we're working that we're alone, and then we go out together and do things together and celebrate together, and have those conversations. Sometimes sitting on the couch, that might not be like out at a restaurant or whatever. That's more like just in the privacy of our own homes, so we can like really have a authentic, straight heart-to-heart conversation. But I don't know as far as how much time. I don't know. It's whatever it takes to like for me to finish a project, for him to finish a project, and then for us to be in communication about how much time that's going to take, so nobody feels neglected.
Yeah. No, I am just, also pointing that out because like, especially for those people who have been coupled and they have children, because like, they don't even have time for themselves as well.
And so imagine.
Like, after taking your children to the practice here and there, and then like, that's about it. Like,
making dinner and then,
they don't even have a dating night together.
Yeah.
And so like, that ruins the relationship because like everything is just like, work.
That's that, like, it's all just same. So like I said, if you're not expanding and like putting in like, oh, we need date time, we need time for just us so we can expand our love and our connection. If it's all just the same thing every day and like a machine, it's gonna decline. Like I said, you're either expanding or you're contracting. So it's so important to put in that, like that, because then in that case it's not just me time, it's time with the significant other. There's both, right, when you have kids. So
yeah.
I don't know how people do it.
No, I really enjoyed our conversation, and then for those people who are experts on love, dating, and relationship, we would like to have you over here because like anything that can give back to the community will actually be appreciated, because like we're here in order to support each other in this world, because like love is love, and then we want to make it much more better world. Obviously there's a lot of divorce, but if we can actually help some other people expand their horizons as far as like finding love, and then keeping it, that will be awesome. And then if you also have been in a long relationship, we would like to have you over here. Maybe you have some secrets that you would like to share with us. We don't care if you're grandmother or grandfather already.
Ooh, that'd be great.
Yeah, because
grandmotherly wisdom.
The more experience you have to keep your relationship longer, like that will be the best. Well, thank you so much, Kim. I really appreciate your time.
you.
And so like till next time, bye bye.